that your pay was going to be 50 cents more an hour than the person you would be leading? No one? Wow, well that's not astonishing to me, which probably explains why I was recently at a local pharmacy, who we shall not name here in case they're here. And I was standing there waiting to check out with another woman, and she looked at me and there was no cashier. And it was an older woman, and she said to me, wow, I guess no one wants to work. And I looked at her and I said, that's a lie. And then I explained to her why, and I'll explain to you in a moment. You see, as we were standing there waiting to check out, there was a sign, and the sign said, help wanted. Cashier, $20 an hour. It sounds pretty good to me. I didn't make that when I was a cashier. Pharmacy tech, $21.50 an hour. Leadership, $22 an hour. And I looked at her and I said, when she told me people don't want to work, I said, that's a lie. I said, people don't want to work here. And here's why. If you're paying 50 cents more an hour for a leader, what kind of quality do you really expect? And are you really doing your employees a favor? Because now they're working for someone who's not qualified, probably. And it was recently brought to my attention, does anyone want to guess how long someone is in management, in a leadership role, before they get any training? Do we have any guesses? A year? Do I have two? Two. Do I have three?
Three.
Okay, would you believe it's 10 years?
Yep.
Okay, would you put someone in charge of your business and let them work there without having any development for 10 years? I think that's kind of scary. So when I wrote the book, Evergreen Talent, this book came out in February of 2020, and COVID hit in March. Not a great time to release a book on talent, because in all honesty, people really didn't care about, taking care and hiring and cultivating their workforce. They were looking to save people's lives. And I so got that. And I thought, darn, that was like a waste of energy. Well, now this book is more popular than ever. And if you want a copy, you can head over to Amazon and download it, because I'm going to give you just some tips today from the book, but unfortunately our time is limited, so I can only give you a little bit. What I want you to leave here today, if you only leave with one thing, I want you to leave with the following. People don't work for companies. They work for people. Okay? If you can go now. Bye. Okay? So if you can take that, that's great. But here's the thing. I want you to know about unfilled jobs. All right? I have 4 things I want to tell you. First of all, they're costing you time, money, and the added stress is causing employees to bolt. Number 2, currently, as of this week, there are 10.1 million job openings. Sounds good to me if I'm a job seeker. When I graduated college, which we won't tell you what year, if only life were that good. In Massachusetts, the unemployment rate is 3.6%, and here in the Cape and Islands, it's 3.5%. Full employment is considered 4%. So, not too good. And then the last thing that I want you to remember is that your customers don't care that you're having a hard time filling jobs. They could give a crap. So, every quarter I do a complimentary masterclass, and I do this for executives and business owners. It's a very small gathering, and it's done now remotely. And most recently, the topic that we have been talking about is what I call the great refusal to work lie. So if you fit into that category and you want to join us in the next session, you can email me at roberta@matusonconsulting.com, and I'll see if I can give you a slot. So when I started talking about this topic in 2021, and every time I look at this and I have to change the number, I'm astonished. There were 9.3 job openings. And a year later, there are almost 1 million more. So things aren't getting better. And I think we can all agree that we can no longer blame the additional unemployment benefits that the government was giving people for our current situation. That's over. So we have to stop propagating the lie that people don't want to work. Many people can't wait to get to work. They just don't want to work for you. I know, it's hard, right? It breaks my heart. I'll share a story with you. Recently, my husband and I went to a restaurant called Mecha Noodle Bar. A new place in Brookline, cool place, fully staffed, outstanding service, food was incredible, and there was a line outside the door. Across the street was another restaurant with a couple of patrons in it and a big help wanted sign in the door. And I walked away having, had the most fantastic service I can recall in years. And we're talking about a noodle shop, okay? We're not talking about the Ritz. And I just said to my husband, they're doing something right here. Because the average bill at this restaurant is $40. So I am sure that the people who are working there aren't working there for the big tips. My guess is they have incredible management. So getting back to the fact that people don't want to work for you, there are dozens of reasons why. But in the interest of time, I'm going to share 4. It's been mentioned before, but it's true. People want control over their work, and you want them in the office. Okay? So far, I think they're winning. Your wages haven't kept up with the market. I've heard people say today, and I hear it all the time, that money doesn't matter. The only people who can say money doesn't matter are the people who have money. I can assure you, money matters. And if you have a choice and you want to keep someone and they're going to leave for another $1 an hour, I'd give them 2. Okay? Because money matters. And if any of you would like to take a pay cut, raise your hand and we'll just test that theory. I've also heard about the overinflated job requirements. That's very true. Do you really need a bachelor's degree to be a receptionist? I've been a receptionist. I didn't have a degree, and I can assure you, you don't need one. And then the 4th reason, which brings us to where we are today, and I'm very candid about it, is lousy management. And we talked about the fact that, we don't really train these people, we just throw them in. And I was suddenly in charge, so I know what lousy management looks like. I literally wrote the book on it. I wrote the book Suddenly in Charge because when I was 24, I was thrown into a management role with little more than a prayer. And everything I did to those people is just astonishing. And I actually wrote them an apology. And it was published on CBS, one of their websites. And you're really bad when one of your people reaches out to you and says, you weren't that bad. So I also wanted to share with you an article, and I would be happy to provide you with a digital copy, because many of you are scrambling to fill jobs. I would just love to know, by a show of hands, does it take you more than, 30 days to fill a job? Typically. Okay, 60 days. Sometimes, right? What if I told you you could actually hire people in 7 days or less? Would that be appealing to you? Okay, well then just send a note to me and I will give you the steps, because there are 10 steps that you can implement today that will not cost you a dime, that will help you hire people in 7 days or less. And that's a guarantee. So if you don't want to participate in this labor shortage, if any of you want to opt out, my recommendation is to start by cultivating magnetic leaders who effortlessly attract top talent that will stick around. And that's it.